So I love the name of the book, Stacked. And so my first question for you guys is, why make personal finance fun? What's the point?
It's actually something very serious, because when you think about your show, we think about all the personal finance shows out there, all of the YouTube videos, all the blogs. There's still so many people, as Jen, you and Jill know, that we're leaving behind. There's just so many people. And it's frustrating because, when you hear popular media, they always say, well, there's not enough information out there. Are you kidding me? There is so much information out there, and there's so many brilliant creators, and there still are so many people that don't feel confident about their money. And to really put a pin on it, not to be overly dramatic, but there's this piece, a study that was done by a group called Nonfiction. They're a research company, and they've done, by the way, these awesome research topics on just about everything. But they have a piece called The Secret Financial Life of Americans, where they say that nearly 150 million people report that they've cried about their money. And yet when people like the two of you or Emily and I, we get questions about money from money nerds or whatever, they're like, so what's hot? What's the cool thing? What's the new thing? Or even people that don't know money, they think that's what they're supposed to ask. And I don't know about you, but I don't think people are crying about the fact that backdoor Roth IRAs might go away, right? They're not crying about the fact that central bank digital currency might be a bigger thing in our lives than crypto. Like, that's the hot new stuff going on right now. Nobody's crying about that. So yeah, I think we need to make it as fun as we can, so that people that aren't attracted to the space normally are attracted to these discussions that we need to have. They find the front door warm and inviting.
Yeah, my most recent book prior to Stacked was something called End Financial Stress Now. And that was a labor of love. It was something that I had been wanting to write for like 10 years. It was very much about my mindset about money and trying to help people to kind of calm down about their own concerns about money, because it's very hard to make good decisions when you're feeling overwhelmed and panicked. No one has ever said about a decision, I'm so glad I made that when I was in a panic and in a rush and like completely overwhelmed with emotions. So I have a friend who, when that book came out, she bought it to support me, but she told me privately, she's like, I'm afraid to read this, because she was saying that she was really concerned that she was so far behind that the book was going to make her feel worse. And, I reassured her, no, that is not at all where I'm coming from. But it made me realize that there's this opportunity here, because even a book that I wrote to be reassuring, that I wrote from the point of view of like, I can help you lower your financial stress, people are going to be turned off by, because their only knowledge of financial media is shame, shame, shame. You're to blame because of avocado toast and lattes. And if you'd started 10 years ago, you'd be fine. And so now you're sunk. And so having a book that starts from the point of view of, we're going to be playful about this. We're going to make jokes. We're going to share our own mistakes. We're going to make it clear that there's many paths to get to where you need to go, and you can enjoy yourself while you do it. That's going to help people kind of lower their defenses against learning about this stuff, because we're making it clear that it doesn't have to be this terrifying process.
And as Emily was talking, I was thinking too that I think we kind of did this to ourselves. I mean, not the four of us here, but just collectively the financial media. I mean, when you look at the big names in financial media, Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey, how do we approach these topics? We call in to this guru who's phenomenal, and they tell you what you're doing wrong, right? That's what people expect from the financial place. Like, ooh, you're some kind of, and I know there's people that you guys have gotten the same response, because Jen, you and I have talked about this before, that we've gotten, you play around too much. You're not giving me the quick answer. You're not judging me about my money. And so I feel like in some ways the expectation's been set by the big names that's what financial education needs to be. And it's not at all true.
Mm-hmm. Well, even amongst finance advisors, I think there's a lot of shame. I mean, you have to almost set yourself as an expert. This is complicated to understand. You have to come to me to manage your money, even if some of it could be done on our own. It just feels so untouchable. And so even for job security and job protection in the financial space, I think that there's this perpetuation of, yeah, this is complicated. You do need to pay someone and go to the expert. And so I love how you're describing just lowering that barrier to entry. And it could be that we seek out experts. We need that at various points in time. But how can we also, as the average person, stretch our muscles a little bit more, gain a knowledge, a working knowledge and understanding of some of the things that we can do? Not that it's all unattainable for us. And fun is a big part of that. The decrease of shame, the increase of you can do this, and giving people even just the tools for problem solving and researching themselves. I love that this is entering into the personal finance space, and it's what you're describing. It feels like a breath of fresh air, and I hope it does too for our listeners who are hearing not just Jen and I saying this, but you all from, Stacking Benjamins talking about this. So thank you. I feel like I want to offer gratitude that this is where we're moving into.